Yes, good day, EBM students. I'm welcoming you to Metric Hub. Thank you so much for connecting and following on Metric Hub. We are just going through revision this time around, preparing for Icass test 2 as well as final examinations. As you always know that our uh, resources and our techniques to pass is always massive revision and reference on our previous papers. So we just want to make sure that we go through all the uh, recent previous papers and make sure that we are guided. This is paper one, first paper. You know it very well that first paper is very short, 30 minutes. It's a closed book paper. It's a closed exam. And don't forget again that you answer all questions here. You answer all questions, and you always supposed to use the numbering system that you are given in the paper, in the exam paper. You use black or blue pen, please. Don't use any other pens. So what we are just going to do here is that we want to answer these questions. Uh, which of the following is not one of the major organizational resources? Is not one of the major organizational resources. Organizational resources. We are looking at things, resources that are supposed to enable the organization to survive. The thriving of an organization depends on human resources. As you can see, human resources, they are a resource. We cannot have an organization without people. People are needed in order for the organization to function. They are the ones who do the responsible functions and activities for it to exist as an organization. Occupational resources. Occupational resources. We are saying occupational resources. What is occupational resources? But we can actually talk about physical resources, which we can talk about the buildings. We can talk about the equipment in terms of printers. We can talk about all those things, chairs and tables, and all those are physical resources. And then technological resources. Obviously, we are talking about our IT related resources. So when we look at the one that is not a major organizational resource, it is what? It's an occupational resource. Occupational resource is not occupational resource is the answer, which we can say that is not what is not a major organizational resource. Occupational, we are talking about occupying a place. So the answer is what is B. Occupational resources is not is not a major organizational resource, but all of those ones we need them. The two documents compiled for job analysis. What are the two documents compiled for job analysis? Two documents compiled for job analysis, job description and job application. When we are doing job analysis, we are saying we need to have job description and job application. Two documents compiled from job analysis. When job analysis is done, we are saying what has to be done, what two documents are compiled from job analysis. It involves the job description and what and job application. So when job analysis is done, we refer on we refer on A, the job description, identifying the specific job items or job uh, uh work specific points that needs to be undertaken there, and then the application for the job as well. CVs and scope of qualifications, they don't fit in there, and then we are saying that the answer is what is A. The appendix of supporting materials in a business plan include the following. The appendix of supporting materials in a business plan. A business plan, actually, it is a document that is defined, that is designed in order to give a narrative of what the business is doing. So what we need to understand is that the appendix of a business plan of a business plan, it includes the following: copies of contracted leases. We are saying on the appendix of a business plan, it includes personal materials, lifestyles of an entrepreneur, which is quite true. I'm sure we have written a business plan. Even at our N4, we did a business plan. So when we do a business plan, it actually has to have its appendix, which actually is supporting information on the personal materials of the person, of the individual, and the lifestyle of the entrepreneur, which we are saying the person who is the one who is starting the business. We are talking about what? The risk taker. We are talking about what? The investor. We are looking at what? The ones who is starting the business. It actually includes some of those documents. So we are saying it has got the risk, it has got to do with the personal materials, and also the lifestyle of the entrepreneur are also involved in what? On the appendix of materials of business plan. And then this concept is not important when planning the capacity of your operation system. What is it that is not important when planning capacity? When planning capacity of operations systems, what is not important? So in this case, we are looking at economic of scale. Economic scale, we are saying economic scale is very important. It defines the size of the business. So therefore, it looks at capacity. When a business grows in size, it also looks, it takes into account the advantages of its growth in size, which we say economies of scale. So economic of scale is relevant. And then best operational level. Operational level, it refers also to the level of or capacity of business operations. So operational level identifies business. It it identifies it identifies the capacity. Bottlenecks, it also looks at some systems that might stop or that might hinder the business capacity, that might disturb the plans in terms of the maximum or the levels of production that needs to be done. So what we are saying is that availability of resources, which of the following is not important when planning the capacity of of business systems. So when we are looking at capacity of business systems, we are saying we can also look at economics of scale. We can look at best operational levels. We can talk about the challenges that might come, or also we are saying the issue of raw availability of raw materials. It might also be the answer. It can also fit in there to say that the availability of raw materials, because whenever we talk about business being size of operation, it means the resources are already there. The resources are already there, so we cannot worry about the resources because we can't talk about the level of production before resources are there. Resources are supposed to be the initial. It's an initial. It's actually initial requirement that needs to be in place. So we are saying the answer should be what? Should be D, because we are saying is not important when planning the capacity, because we are saying capacity is driven by availability of resources. Therefore, it might not be important, but we can look at every other factors. The economic of scale, it talks about the advantage the business is reaching as an increase in size and as an increase in operations. So in other words, we must agree that D can be the best answer. The habit of self-management that implies knowing where we are going is called what? Habit of self-management that implies where we are going. The habit of self-management that implies where we are going is called, it is called what? Habit of self-management. So what we are saying is that a person is self-introspecting and also knowing where we are going is known as what? It is known as begin with the mind, begin with the end in the mind. So you are starting, you are going where you are knowing, you are going where you are to go because you know what is there. So we are saying C can be the right answer that can suit in there, and then indicate whether the following statements are true or false by writing true or false next to the question number. Centralized decisions are taken by supervisors daily at a business operations. Centralized centralized decisions are taken by supervisors daily at a business operations. We are saying centralized, it means they are taken by management. When we say centralized, it means they are not available or they are not reached by lower level people. So we are saying this is what this is false. Centralized decisions are not taken by supervisors. Supervisors, they don't take centralized decisions. When the moment they are centralized, it means they don't reach to what? They don't reach to supervisors. And then when customers pay their accounts, many businesses experience bad debts when customers pay their accounts. When we pay accounts, it means we are owning up, we are following, or we are complying. Many business experience bad debts. Bad debts are not experienced when customers pay. They are experienced when customers don't pay. When they don't pay, that's when we can have bad debts. Bad debts, we talk about finances, monies that are failed to, that are not paid, and they are overwritten by the business because the business has failed to pay. So we are saying customers paid their accounts, we don't experience bad debts. So our answer is what? It's false. Bad debts are not experienced when customers pay their accounts. They are experienced when customers don't pay. A business exists in a vacuum. It is not surrounded by management environment. A business cannot exist in a vacuum. It needs to have a business environment. A business is supposed to have it's actually operating in an environment which influence its operations. There are quite a lot of factors that affect the business operations. Therefore, a business cannot exist in a vacuum. It is actually surrounded by management environment. It is there are quite a lot of factors that affect the operations and the viability of a business, which we are also looking at management environment, which influences how the business runs. So a business cannot be just an idle thing. It is not. The answer is false. Once the business is opened and is operating, there is no need for business plan. Once a business is opened and is operating, there is no need for a business plan. A business plan is a lifetime, is always there. A business plan is always there. Is always there. A business plan is always there. So we cannot stop using a business plan because the business is taken off. Even if the business is running, we still need a business plan in various ways. Remember that a business plan is a communication tool for the business. It is a it is a medium of communication that a business can use in order to reach to its various stakeholders. So it can be in use and operations forever as long as the business is still in existence. So it is the lifeblood of a business plan. It directs, it controls decision making. It actually enables management of the business because the plan is guiding how the business must be run. A capital expenditure budget is allocated for a short-term project. A capital expenditure budget. When we look at a short-term project, we cannot have a capital expenditure. A capital expenditure is actually is allocated for long-term project, not short-term. So it is actually false. A short-term project does not need continuous financial investment, which we can define as capital expenditure. So short-term projects are just financed and they don't need capital expenditure budget that can be assigned aside because it is for a short period of time and hence it can actually not need continuous or need following in terms of financial investment. We need to choose the choose the description from B that matches an item in column A. A description in column B that matches a description in column B. You choose a description in column B, which is in column B, that matches an item in column A. Write only letters A to L next to the question numbers. Write only letters A to L next to the question numbers. So we are supposed to just match column A and column B. In this case, we are supposed to match column A and column B. So charismatic, this is a form of leadership. Charismatic is a power that comes from your personality, is somebody who is a leader who has got power that comes from his personality or her personality. So charismatic, the answer is what? Is H. Hespeck's theory. We have got Hespeck two-factor theory. Hespeck two-factor theory, what does it say? Hespeck two-factor theory, it actually focuses on job and working conditions of a person. It works on transport cost. It works on X in business, lack of ability, power that the level of competition, scientific knowledge to improve production, focuses on job. Hesbeck's two-factor theory, it talks about the maintenance and hygienic factors, which focuses on what? On focuses on the job and working conditions of a person. Its intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. The job Hesbeck two-factor theory, it focuses on what? On K, which we are saying that it is the what? The job. It focuses on the job and also the working conditions, the benefits that the person gets on the job himself, and also how the maintenance factors also ensure or motivate an employee. Element of the cover page of the business plan. When we look at the cover page of the business plan, it actually has to have things to do with the contact details. It has to do with the business name, address, logo, and so forth. So when we look in our answers, the contents page, I mean the element of the cover page of a business plan, it must contain L. It must contain L. Elements of a business plan must contain, they must contain L, which is what? Which is the name. It contains the logo, the emblem, the contact details, addresses of the business. They must be there. And then cost associated with the granting quality control. When we are to make sure that quality is met, quality control is met, what are the costs associated with that? Quality control, granting quality control, what are the costs associated with quality control? It can have to do with quality control, it has to do with appraisal cost. Quality control, it has to come with what? With appraisal cost. It cannot come with lack of ability or work power of what? It cannot come with all those, but it comes with what? It comes with quality, granting quality control. It comes with what? With E. It comes with E, which is appraisal cost. When people are granting quality control, when we appraise, we are evaluating the control, we are controlling quality, we are checking, comparing the standards versus the actual. Therefore, we are doing evaluation, which also comes with appraisal cost. So mission, what is a mission statement in a business? A mission statement, it actually is a written statement that gives direction, which we can say that D can also do. A mission statement, it's a written statement that directs. It actually gives the expectation. It actually gives it gives the directions towards which the business is gonna take or the business is operating. That is D. And then part of marketing plan. Part of marketing plan. Which one is part of marketing plan? Number 6, 3.6. Part of marketing plan. It has to do with part of marketing plan. It has to do part of the marketing plan. It has to do uh, with A. Part of marketing plan. It has to do with A, which we are saying that part of marketing plan. It has to do with A, which is where business will be located when we are doing marketing. we also focus or consider where the business is located, the position, the situation, or the position to which the business is located identifies also part of marketing plan. Factors factor influencing the selection of supplier. When we are choosing a supplier, what factor influence the selection of a supplier? Number 7, factors that can influence the selection of a supplier is also we can look at factor that can influence the selection of a supplier. We can also look at the best answer can be his credit policy. How does he consider the credit policy? How does he provide credit policy? So we can say that the credit policy influences, it's a factor that can influence credit policy, it's a factor that can influence the selection of a supplier, because we in business sometimes we can also order goods in quantities and not being able to pay them exactly on time, but we would need to have some terms and conditions in terms of how the business will run in terms of credit and allowing getting goods before paying for them. So the credit policy is very important. And then technology, when we define technology according to the choice of answers that we are given here, technology, it actually has to do with scientific knowledge to improve production. Technology, it has to do with scientific knowledge to improve production is J. We must look at what scientific knowledge to improve scientific knowledge to improve production is technology. And then social responsibility. Social responsibility, business are engaging or they engage in social responsibility, which has to do with taking care of the society. It has to take care of the environment, which has to do with sustainability. So social responsibility, it also looks and takes into account the act to act in the best interest of your environment and society as a whole. That is a social responsibility. We are saying it actually looks into the survival or the fairness of life to people and also the environment in which the business is operating. So it looks at social responsibility as what as F. Social responsibility, the act to act in the best interest of the business and also society as a whole. Incompetent, meaning to say that when somebody or a person is incompetent, it means he's not able to deliver. He has no the experience, he doesn't have the skills, he lacks the ability to do the work. So if a person is incompetent, it has to come with what? Incompetency, it has to mean that the person lack of ability or skill results in incompetence. So it is what? It is G. Incompetency, it has to do with lack of ability or skill. You call that incompetence. Lack of ability or skill is incompetence. So that's what it is. That's what we need to understand when it comes to these questions. That's what we need to understand. It's just one question that we need to get all the marks. One question that we need to get all the marks. Define the following terms. Define the following terms. So, what is ethics? Question 4. What is ethics? When you look at ethics, we look at moral. We look at acceptable norms and standards. Acceptable norms and standards. This has to do with the values that are acceptable within a society that actually defines the right and wrong. Ethics, these are acceptable values and standards in a society uh, that that defines what is right from what is wrong. Right, that defines what is right from what is wrong. So we call that acceptable values and standards in a society that defines what is right from wrong. We call that, those are ethics. We define those as ethics. And then authority, when we look at authority, it defines, we can define authority as having power or a right to do something, and also it is also an act of entitlement. Authority is having power. When we talk about authority, we talk about it has to be having power. We talk about having power or a right to do something, right to do, right to do something. That means authority, and then it also means entitlement to act and also apply power. We can also say that authority, it talks about entitlement to act and apply. So therefore, when a person is saying he has got authority, it means he is actually having the influence of giving people orders, of also uh, giving conditions of how things should be done. Also, with that authority, it means the person has got power. He applies power on what he is to do. And then trade unions, we look at, these are organizations that represent employees of a particular industry, and also have got a collective bargaining power on behalf of those employees within a particular industry. It's an organization, trade union, an organization that actually represents a specific group of people in an organization. It actually represents a specific group of people in an organization, and also having bargaining powers on their behalf, on their behalf. We call that a trade union. It's a representative, it's an organization that represents people, employees. It represents a specific group of people, employees in an organization, having bargaining powers on their behalf. So the people that we are talking about is employees. It represents specific profession. It represents people within a specific or a particular industry. So a particular industry is represented by them. They actually represent them and negotiate collectively on their behalf. So what we talk about here is that there is collectiveness. There is also a specific industry. There is also the issue of saying the employees are all belonging to a particular industry as a whole. And then we can look at signage. Signage, signage, guys, it's a way of, it's actually we can define it as the output that we can receive as a result of people working and putting resources and energy together. So it's a way of working together as a team for actually the best outcome. The outcome, we are saying best outcome, it is best outcome that is received because of people working together, because of people working together as a team, working together as a team. So in science, you shall see that in business science, this is always defined as 1 plus 1 is equals to 3. To say that the effort that is put by two people is not corresponding equivalent to their is not directly equal to their to 1 plus 1. When we say 1 plus 1 is equal to 3, it is actually scientifically defining signage. Signage can be defined as what? As a collective effort that people bring together to bring or to come up with a multiplier outcome. That what we can define. And then 4.5 break even point is a point at which the business is making either profit or a loss. It's actually when total expenses needed to operate a business are also equals to the income the business is making. In that regard, there is no economic profit or a loss that the business is making. Uh, a point at which a point at which a business is neither making a profit or a loss. A point at which a business is neither making a profit or loss. So what we are saying is that uh, expenses is equals to what? To income. So it is break-even point is just a motivation point. It's a motivation status at which can encourage a business to keep operating in order for, expecting profit in the long run, but the business is just making finances or making income equally enough for it to keep on covering its own expenses. So when expenses are covered, there is a motivation for doing business again and again, or there is an expectation, a positive expectation for a better day to come. So it is a break-even point. Total expenses is equals to total income. So man to go to business to go to work, the variable and fixed cost, which is material cost, which is rent, which is utilities, all those, when we make our income per month, it can cover all those operational expenses, and then it is equals to that, and then we don't remain with anything. So in that regard, it is a break-even point. The business can sustain a business, not in terms of sustaining in profit, but it can allow the business to keep on operating. That is the break-even point. So class, thank you very much. I wish you all the best, and keep on following and revising. We still have more to come. We want to ensure that when we write our exams now, end of the year, we are ready and we are not going to make any mistakes. Thank you very much. Don't forget that this is Icass scope, and also end of year examination, also end of year examination tips. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and also share the channel. We still have so much to do. Have a beautiful stay and keep on connected. Thank you.